Hello YouTubers, my fellow Americans. Today, after my little rant, now that I've calmed down for the most part, I'm going to read you the Bill of Rights and give you my interpretation as an American citizen, reasonably educated, not formally educated, but being a conscious, living, breathing human being, I decided to educate myself. I'm going to try to describe some of these things for you and interpret them. Keep in mind, I am no authority. I don't have a law degree. I don't have a constitutional law degree. I don't have... The only college that I have is for welding and emergency medical services for the military. 7 years in the military is my background. As far as if anyone wants to know. Anyway, this is the Legal Information Institute, Cornell University Law School, www.law.cornell.edu/constitution/Bill of Rights. Sorry about that. Now, let's proceed. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, signed into law in 1791 by our founding fathers. This is the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Break it down. The law-making sector of the government shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise of, meaning they shall make no law either for or against religion. You have the right to practice religion as long as it doesn't break any other laws. If your religion allows you to molest children, rape women, kill people because they disagree with you, you can't practice that law, nor any law will be made for you. You can't practice that here. It's not an American value. You're in America. If you have a religion that's peaceful and doesn't have things that break the law, then you can practice it. Doesn't matter what it is. Christianity, paganism, Judaism, Islam, no Sharia law. Whether it be Sikh or Taoism or Confucianism, the major world religions, it doesn't matter. You're free. Or abridging the freedom of speech. You can say what you want. You don't have to be politically correct. You don't have to worry about it. You're free to make those speeches. You're free to say what you feel. Or of the press, meaning is so long as it's factual information, the press can print what they feel. It needs to be printed. Factual information is a really important key phrase in that statement. Or the right of the people to peaceably assemble, meaning as long as you're peaceful and not destroying property, as long as you're not throwing things at people and shooting and destroying shops and storefronts, you can assemble peacefully and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So long as you have a grievance and enough people who sign support of that grievance, you have the right to petition the government to change it. It's your right. First Amendment. First given protection. On to the Second Amendment. This one's really important. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. A well-regulated militia. meaning a group of people who gather armed to protect their country, being necessary to the security of a free state, again, to protect your freedoms. The right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, meaning that the right of the people to keep and bear their arms is what enables that militia to be formed. A militia does not have funding from the federal government. It may have some minor funding from the state government if it's available. But for the most part, a militia is a group of people, more than one, more than 10, preferably. Though if you read some historical books, you might learn something about it. To keep and bear arms, their rights, the ability to keep this right here, and yes, it's empty. Their right to keep these means they can form that militia to protect their freedoms without having to worry about funding for armament. Shall not be infringed, meaning this particular amendment protects your rights to own weapons. This isn't just about hunting. This isn't about going and providing meat for the table. This is about protecting the rights. This amendment protects all the others. All the rest of it is protected by this one amendment. Next. This one's kind of important too. You might see why. The Third Amendment. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Meaning that in a time of peace, in a normal everyday environment, when there's no war on our soil, no soldier shall be forced, or rather, no soldier shall be forced upon you, the owner of your home. Meaning you don't have to feed him, clothe him, anything like that. In a time of war, if there's war on our soil, there may be a law stating that if you have the ability to quarter this soldier, to help him or this group of soldiers, then you should. Not that you have to, but you should. We haven't had a real war on our soil in such a manner for a very long time. So this might not be as fresh in your mind as it would have been for people around the time of this document. The Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, really important. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Meaning that you have the right to be secure, meaning no one can take from you your person, meaning your life, or your physical position in this world, your house, homes, papers, meaning your records, any record at all, be it internet, written paper, or otherwise, and effects, meaning your personal belongings, against unreasonable searches and seizures, meaning they can't just do it because. It shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, meaning they have to have a good, valid reason to search you. If you are driving drunk and you are acting really shady, they have the right to pull you out and search you. If you're being violent, if you're arrested, that is probable cause. They have to know if you have a weapon on you. A warrant that is issued cannot be issued without support by a judge, meaning a judge has to sign it. That's the whole part about supported by oath or affirmation. And that warrant, a piece of paper, has to describe particularly who they're searching for, what they're searching for, And if they find said objects or persons, those are the things that they can seize if it's on that warrant. If Joe Schmo is the person that they're looking for, and his pink and blue poodle of war are on that document, they can seize Joe and his poodle, but nothing else. They can't just walk in, search for Joe, find a brick of money laying around, and take that unless there's probable cause. Your Fifth Amendment. This is the amendment that covers your rights in court. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. Meaning that unless you are in front of a jury, you cannot be held answerable. Meaning lynch mobs, posses, vigilante justice are unlawful. You have to be taken before a jury and a judge, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, meaning that if you are in the military or in the Navy, or rather if you're in ground forces or Navy or Air Force, they have their own code, their own system. Trust me, I know. It's the UCMJ. Look it up. Let's see. When in actual service in time of war or public danger, which means that in war and public danger, things tend to change. Things are a little bit more flexible because they have to be able to do things swiftly. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life. That's the whole double jeopardy thing you hear of, meaning that you can't be charged for the same thing twice, the same charge. If Sally Mattressback is killed and you happen to be one of her customers, and they try you for it, and they find you not guilty, they can't try you for it again. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, which means you have the right to remain silent. It's your Fifth Amendment right, and your Miranda rights. And if you are called up in court, you don't have to testify against yourself, or be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, which means they have to go through a certain process. It's called the criminal justice system. Okay, just look it up, please. Do some research. Learn these things. They're important. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation, meaning that if a police officer commandeers your vehicle, he has to compensate you for it. The government has to compensate you for it. Let's go to Amendment 6, because I think I'm running out of time. Criminal prosecutions. Jury trial, right to the confrontation, and counsel. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial, meaning that it's not going to be really slow, hopefully. You have the right to be put to trial relatively quickly by an impartial jury, meaning people who don't know you or don't have any connection to any of the victims or anything of that nature, of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, which means that the district is whatever jurisdiction you fall under. That's the jurisdiction that's going to get a hold of you. If you commit a crime in New York, you're going to answer for it in New York, even if you're a citizen of California. Let's see. And informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, which means you have to be told. They have to tell you why you are being tried or arrested, even. To be confronted with the witness, meaning you get a chance to see the witness firsthand, and the witness has to be there in front of you. To have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, meaning that your attorney can get for you people who saw you at your house instead of at Sally Mattressback's at the time she was killed. And to have the assistance of counsel for his defense, which meaning if you do not have an attorney, or cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Seventh Amendment. Common law suits. In suits at common law, where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. Which meaning, if there is value of more than $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved. Meaning that if you are in a common law court, meaning a civil court, where they're seeking $15 for you, basically what they're trying to say is if it's frivolous lawsuit, you don't have to be in front of a jury. Judge can decide. Judge Judy, anybody? Let's see. The Eighth Amendment. Excess bail or fines, cruel and unusual punishment. Excessive bails shall not be required, nor excessive fines be imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments be inflicted. Meaning that if your crime was stealing a loaf of bread to feed your family, they're not going to charge you $250,000 to get out of jail. Excessive fines, again, said loaf of bread. They can't charge you $10,000 for that loaf of bread if they find you guilty. Nor cruel and unusual punishments be inflicted. Again, loaf of bread. They can't cut off your hand. If you are a prostitute, they're not going to pour acid on your face and stone you to death. Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people, meaning the Constitution itself doesn't limit your rights. It guarantees them. Even though they are not certain rights that are not listed in the Constitution, your rights are guaranteed by the Constitution. The 10th Amendment. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people, meaning that we the people have the powers. We the people have the ability to change things through our states. Our states, legislature, our Congress, senators, representatives, everything. That's how we have our powers. The United States, the federal government, at the time of this writing, had limited powers, very limited powers. Very limited. If the Founding Fathers were to see our federal government today, they would shit a brick and look at us like we were dumb. We the people have the power to change things through voting, through petitioning, through public protest, and at the very, very worst case scenario, rising up and physically replacing the leadership that is doing us, the people, the sovereigns of this nation, wrong. 10th Amendment right. To change things, to do the right thing. I love my country. I've fought for my country. I've bled for my country. I've stood by men and women who are far, far better people than I am, that gave up their lives to protect these documents and the rights they guarantee. Don't let it go to waste. I love you, America. Peace.